What's up guys, Frazier here for Complex News. Chris Paul returned to the Staples Center on Monday night to play his first road game against the Clippers since leaving the team last summer through a trade to the Rockets. And as you might imagine, things got heated between the two teams. But no one could have possibly predicted just how wild things would eventually get before the end of the night. The game was chippy throughout, with players from both sides getting into it on several occasions throughout the evening. But tensions turned all the way up at the end of the fourth quarter after the game's referees appeared to miss a goaltending call on Clippers player Wesley Johnson. As several Rockets players argued with the refs over the call, Houston head coach Mike D'Antoni ran out to midcourt to join them, and it didn't sit well with Blake Griffin. He asked the refs to send D'Antoni back to the bench and then seemed to bump D'Antoni on his way back down the court. Griffin scored on the following play and was fouled on it, which prompted even more complaining from Paul and his Rockets teammates. It also led to an ugly back and forth between Griffin and D'Antoni, who was still upset about the fact that Griffin came into contact with him. They yelled at each other, at one point even seemingly hurling F-bombs. That in turn led to a series of exchanges between Griffin and Rockets players. Griffin got into it with Trevor Ariza and Eric Gordon before getting into it again with Ariza after he exchanged words with Griffin's teammate Austin Rivers, who didn't play in the game due to an injury. Eventually, Griffin and Ariza were both ejected and the game ended peacefully. But the tension between the two teams didn't stop there. Once both teams retreated to their respective locker rooms, several reporters who were covering the game sent out tweets suggesting Chris Paul and James Harden, who was also sidelined due to an injury, exchanged words in the Rockets' locker room. It appeared as though Houston was self-destructing. But a short time later, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski shared a report about what had actually happened after the Rockets and Clippers left the court. According to Woj, Paul, Harden, Ariza, and newly signed Rockets forward Gerald Green used CP3's extensive knowledge of the Staples Center to try and use a secret tunnel to access the Clippers' locker room. Their plan, according to Woj, was to enter the Clippers' locker room and confront Austin Rivers. They also planned on going after Griffin while they were there. Fortunately, Staples Center security was able to stop the Rockets before they got into the Clippers' locker room, but it sounds like it had the potential to be a pretty wild scene. At one point, Woj reported Rockets center Clint Capella even tried to get into the Clippers' locker room by simply knocking on the front door to it before he was turned away. As news about the Rockets' attempted raid of the Clippers' locker room started circulating on social media, NBA fans had plenty of jokes about it. They pulled out all the memes in an effort to clown Chris Paul and his teammates, with most people joking about the secret tunnel CP3 used to try and get into the Clippers' locker room. It was a free-for-all on Twitter, with everyone getting their best jabs in and pointing out the absurdity of the situation. Blake Griffin even joked about it once things died down and calmness was restored within the Staples Center. Griffin might not be laughing for long though. According to Woj, the NBA is going to launch an investigation into what happened on Monday night right away, and there could be a handful of Rockets and Warriors players subjected to fines and possibly even suspensions in the coming days. But for now, NBA fans continue to have a field day with what took place and are already looking forward to the next Rockets game against the Clippers in LA, which is scheduled to take place on February 28th. That's the news for now, but for all the latest on Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, the Clippers, and the Rockets, subscribe to Complex News on YouTube. For Complex, I'm Frazier.